Hey friends, Mitch Dunford here with the Risk and Insurance Education Alliance. Quick heads up, if you're in the restaurant risk space or thinking about diving in, we've got something brand new for you. We've just launched the Restaurant Risk Professional or RRP certification, which is part of our new Risk Pro series. The program is a 16-hour live instructor-led online course designed to tackle the real-world challenges of restaurant risk. It's a practical way to boost your skill set, stand out in the industry, and truly own your potential. And stick around because in today's interview, brought to you by the Alliance Research Academy, Lisa Gardner and I chat with Jay Gates, Managing Director of Gallagher's restaurant practice. Now, Jay may be a powerhouse in restaurant risk management, but in my opinion, he should also be up for Father of the Year. Before jumping on the podcast recording, we found out Jay spent 2 hours on the telephone trying to score concert tickets for his 16-year-old daughter. This is just one example of why I love this industry. It's full of super smart people who are also amazing human beings. I hope you enjoy this interview. And if you'd like to learn more about the Restaurant Risk Professional Program, visit us at riskeducation.org/restaurant-risk pro. Hello and welcome to this episode of Alliance Insights. Today we are discussing the topic of restaurant risk management. My name is Mitch Dunford, and co-hosting this episode is my friend and colleague, Dr. Lisa Gardner. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mitch, it's good to see you.
You too. Hey, before we introduce our guest, Jay, tell our audience a little bit more about you and your own personal journey in risk and insurance.
Sure. My current role is as the Associate Director for Content and Research at the Risk and Insurance Education Alliance, which is a wonderful opportunity to have conversations with people like Jay Gates about restaurant risk management. Before I arrived at the Alliance, I was in higher education for 33 years, teaching predominantly risk and insurance, statistics, and even an actuarial science class, which I guess makes me super nerdy in and of itself.
It does. Yes, it does.
So I'm delighted to be here today, Mitch, and learn more about Jay's story and have a great conversation with Jay and you.
Agreed. We were just talking to Jay before we went live. And so let's go ahead and dig in. Like I said, our guest today is Jay Gates, Gallagher's Managing Director of National Restaurant Practice. Jay has over 20 years of experience in the risk and insurance industry and was recognized by Business Insurance Magazine as a breakout award winner for his work as Director of Risk Management at one of this country's largest casual dining restaurant chains. Jay is a regular speaker at a variety of risk and insurance conferences, including RIMS. Jay served as the president of the Nebraska Claims Association and is currently a member of the Public Policy Committee, also at RIMS. In his spare time, Jay serves on the board of directors of Kids Chance of Nebraska. Welcome, Jay. It's great to have you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and have this conversation.
Hey, Lisa, before you dig in with the questions, Jay, when we were talking beforehand, we found out that you are Father of the Year. Is that true?
I'd like to think so. Yes, I just spent the last hour and a half in the queue to buy Zach Bryan tickets for my teenage daughter that went on pre-sale today for an April concert. And I put my entire day on hold to make sure I got that done for her and her friends before they go on sale to the public tomorrow. So she's very excited, and she told me I am Dad of the Year.
You've earned it. Were you successful getting the tickets?
I did. I was worried that they were going to be sold out, but yes, I got 2 general admission seats on the floor in April, so she's more than happy.
That's awesome. Terrific. Well, Lisa, go ahead and dig in. We just had to talk about Jay and his award.
I agree with your daughter. You are Dad of the Year for doing that for her.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
great to
you.
see you. Jay, tell us a little more about yourself, including something about your upbringing, your educational path, why you chose risk management and insurance as a career, and your journey to your current role.
Well, I'll start with saying I'm like anyone. No one. I didn't grow up saying one day I'm going to be a work comp claims adjuster. I didn't say I'm going to be a risk manager or anything like that. That was not my career path. I grew up here in Nebraska and Iowa, basically my whole life in the Midwest. Both my parents are lawyers, so my original intent was to go to college, get a degree in criminal justice, go to law school, and be a lawyer. That was my game plan when you talk to 19-year-old Jay Gates. However, that being said, after 4 years of being a broke college kid, when I graduated, I didn't want to do 3 years of law school, so I ended up in the workforce. And I didn't start with risk management. I started actually at the Equal Opportunity Commission in Nebraska. First job out of college doing that, and then ultimately worked my way into claims and risk management and up to where I am today. But that's my short background.
What do you like about your current job as managing director of Gallagher's restaurant practice group?
You know, I've been with Gallagher now 6 years, so I had a pretty extensive career prior to coming to Gallagher. The thing I like most about being here at Gallagher is I get to utilize everything I've learned from all of my previous jobs, from the EEOC, from my time with Sedgwick TPA, from my time as director of risk. Everything I use, all the education, the CPCU, the ARM, the AIC, my job every day forces me to use a little bit of that experience. So I think that's at this point in my career, it's nice to be able to do that. I don't think everybody could say that, that all of my previous jobs help me every day in the challenges that I face here at Gallagher.
I think you're right. That is a unique thing and wonderful to build upon your career in that way. I'd like to dig into some of your previous jobs now. You talked about
Sure.
your job as an EEOC investigator. What was that like, and what did you learn there that helped prepare you for your next job?
Well, that was my first job out of college. So as a 24-year-old, it was great. I fulfilled everything my mom told me, get a job. I had benefits. I was making money, living by myself. So it was great from that perspective. To me, it was a job. It wasn't a career. I was there for 3 years. I learned a tremendous amount about becoming a professional or working in a professional environment. I also learned what it's like working for municipalities, state government, the red tape and the politics that go along with that. I learned that I needed to get out of that and get into the public sector as quickly as possible. And so it was a great experience. It lasted about 4 years, and then I moved on and got in to the private sector doing claims.
And so you were a claims team manager for Sedgwick CMS, where you mentored claims professionals and managed large teams. What leadership principles do you think guided you when you were developing that talent?
I would say that my time at Sedgwick was really good, actually. And as a leader, I'm much more of a motivator than a disciplinarian. And I learned quickly that that's the most effective for me to be, to teach people that were my direct reports in the office that I ran and helped run throughout my over decade plus career there. It proved to be a great learning experience, just like the EEOC job. I was fortunate enough to be involved in a large variety of accounts, including national accounts. And like I said, so some of that experience and some of that leadership carried over into my next roles as I continued, on my career journey. But the time at Sedgwick was amazing. I learned a whole lot of things and was experienced a lot of things from project management, leadership, all of those skill sets that I use still today. But I learned a lot working at Sedgwick and was exposed to a lot of different industries and risk and insurance and claims. I saw just about everything you would think you could see under the sun from a claim standpoint.
Hey, Jay, quick question. What was the hook that got you into insurance, into claims? I mean, was it an ad in the newspaper? Was it a friend? What was it
Well,
that
it
came
was,
across
to be
your
honest
radar?
with you, when I was looking to leave the EEOC, the
Yeah.
Sedgwick job ad was one of the last that I would see. This is back 20 years ago when you just went online and looked for
Yep.
jobs. And I clicked on the link. It made sense, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll find one." And I sent my resume. I applied. And the cool thing about it was a workers' comp claims job. It was doing investigation, a lot of what I had just been doing at the EEOC. A lot of my skills translated. It paid more, and that's all. I mean, at that time, I just wanted benefits and more money, and so it hit the spot. It took me several years to realize that a career in insurance, if I took that job serious, I would end up where I am today.
Yeah, it's I always say it's one of the best kept secrets out there, the insurance industry. I was a retired San Diego cop and kind of fell into the industry, and I feel super lucky that to have the opportunity. So I get it. Sorry,
Yeah, that's
Lisa, keep
exactly what
going.
happened to me. I was working for Sedgwick. I was probably 3 years in at Sedgwick when my supervisor at the time said, this could be a career, not just a job. If you're interested, I know
Yeah.
you're, in your early to mid 20s, and you just think you got the whole thing in front of you. But insurance is a great opportunity if you stick with it and apply yourself. And I'm glad I took that advice and got my
I hear you.
certifications and stuck with it. But I definitely fell into it. It was not a dream or anything like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us fall into it. Luckily, yeah.
Yeah.
So from Sedgwick, you moved to RMH Franchise Holdings, where you built an ERM, Enterprise Risk Management program, for 165 plus Applebee's locations. I think of Applebee's as kind of America's restaurant, family restaurant. Every small town has one, and so on. So tell us about that job and how you built out that program, set priorities, got buy-in, and lessons learned from it.
Working for that organization was an awesome job. I learned a lot. I had worked all through college at various restaurants, so the restaurant experience I had as a college kid, serving and bartending and waiting tables and doing all that, gave me good feedback. My claims investigation, and then I actually had to learn on the fly the risk management side. I had claims and insurance, but the risk management stuff I had never done, and I was kind of a fake it till you make it kind of guy when I got in on that side of it. But it was a great experience. Applebee's is a great family restaurant, and learning the challenges of risk management, learning the ability to control risk and start to become an expert on those side of things and control the cost of risk and loss control and things like that. It was a great experience, and kind of being a one-man show and being responsible. I had a lot of responsibilities from a compliance, guest relations, so just about anything and everything. Risk management has their fingers in it. So it was a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It actually is the catalyst of what got me to the job that I'm in right now.
Okay, so I gotta ask, Jay, what's the craziest claims you had there? I mean, that's
I
a
could
heavy
write a
lift.
book.
I
I'll be
bet.
honest with
Yeah.
you. I could write a book about the different claims that you see in the restaurant space, from HR issues to the risk management issues. I would say, on the serious side, the liquor liability and the accidents and the fatalities and things like that. I think those were the most gripping, to be perfectly honest
Sure.
with you, when you get that call and say, hey, so-and-so drank too much, and someone lost their life as a result of being at your location. So I think that's probably the most, just because it really gets you involved, and there's a lot of expertise needed to handle stuff like that. So I would say those are
Absolutely.
the ones that, fortunately, we didn't have a lot of them, but when they do, they really demand expertise and excellent execution. And I'm glad I was able to develop that on a number of times with a lot of the more severe claims that come through, or the injuries to customers that, are totally unexpected, things like that. So I would say that, but yeah, I could certainly write a book on some of the silly claims, some of the HR issues, like I said, and then the liability claims are the ones that got my attention the most, and then the ones that went into litigation. Obviously, with my parents' background and my background in criminal justice, going to court and fighting claims is something I took especially special enjoyment in doing.
Absolutely.
So, in your current position as managing director of Gallagher's restaurant practice group, what do you see as the most pressing risk management challenges facing the industry, and how's Gallagher addressing them?
That's a great question. And I would say that, fortunately for us, as the second largest or largest broker in the world, each of our prospects or clients face different issues, right? I mean, the restaurant space in general is facing, and you see it on the national news, you see restaurants closing, staffing is an issue, labor, foot traffic. It all depends on whether you're talking quick service, and that to the layman person, that's fast food, McDonald's, Burger King, the quick service stuff, casual dining, which would be the Applebee's, and then the fine dining and especially restaurants like Cracker Barrel and things like that. Any of those restaurants all face individual challenges. I think Gallagher's able to get dialed in and help each individual prospect or client deal with their major issues. I could sit here and say, in general, there's a lot of things out there from a risk management standpoint. But what we like to do is look at the total cost of risk and make sure we're getting the solutions that solve their particular needs. Because some folks are dealing with issues that not everyone's dealing with. Some of them handle them differently, have different risk tolerances. So I would say there's a lot of demands, and we do our best to meet those and put the right insurance solution with it to keep everybody happy.
Gallagher emphasizes reducing the total cost of risk, which you mentioned earlier just a minute ago, with best-in-class customer service. Can you share an example where client service directly impacted risk outcomes?
Yeah, I think, every day that's what we try and do. I think one of the biggest ones in the last few years that the restaurant practice was able to do is we had a client that was with another broker who was not being proactive, and we were able to evaluate their loss runs, take a look at everything, offer some alternative solutions, including a captive, which not everyone thinks of as a great solution for restaurants, but given their circumstances, given their loss runs, and given the feasibility and the experts that we have to be able to do that, we were able to actually save a client a significant amount of money, get them into a captive, which they had not considered prior to coming to Gallagher. And it's been a great deal. Like I said, it totally reduced their cost of risk at a high level. And, it was just a great story on how it all unfolded. I would put that one down as one of my favorites, but we try and do it with all of our prospects and clients, is identifying where the low-hanging fruit is, try and solve that issue, and then put together a long-term plan to continue to service them. If they're a growth company that wants to grow by 200 locations in the next 3 years, then we like to work with them as a partner and strategize on how we can do that and keep their insurance solutions in step with what their risk tolerance and what their long-term plan is from an enterprise risk management standpoint, or just from a straightforward strategic plan.
And it sounds like you're willing to look at some innovative solutions that others wouldn't consider. You mentioned a captive with restaurants.
Oh yeah, we're all hands on deck for anything that might work. There's a lot of solutions. We have a lot of bench from our standpoint here at Gallagher. We have a lot of solutions that are available. We have a lot of online and proprietary information and things that we can utilize that can help solve problems for our clients. So yeah, we use anything and everything and evaluate their individual situation and how we can improve that, whether it be through data or benchmarking or utilizing some, like I said, some of our proprietary services, or just going out and using our big umbrella to get them better rates and argue on behalf of them to get the underwriters to cut them a break and save money that their other local broker or other national carriers aren't able to do because of Gallagher and the services that we provide.
Hey, Jake, another quick question. As you got into the restaurant space, were there any risks that surprised you that most other risk and insurance professionals would be surprised were risks associated with restaurants? And was there anything that you think other insurance professionals would be surprised that you deal with?
A couple of them caught me when I first got into it. Yeah, I would say cyber is not something every restaurant, when I first got into it, really considered as a cyber breach. Someone accessing your guests' credit card information and utilizing that at the time, that wasn't something big. The other one I would say is product recall. Was new to me. The whole idea of your lettuce is bad and a lot of people are sick. When I was at
Yeah.
Applebee's, and this was a while back, but there was another casual dining restaurant dealing with a national issue on, like I said, getting people sick through some of their locally sourced produce. And so that was significant. It costs a lot of money if you're not ready for it, for both of those, a product recall or a cyber breach. People underestimate how much that can cost and how quickly it escalates and how it can hurt your brand if you don't have it taken care of quickly and have a plan to execute. So I would say those two
Absolutely.
are the biggest ones that caught me off guard when I first got into it.
I mean, just memory. I mean, there are a lot of restaurants that hit the press on exactly those issues. And I can imagine it's a nightmare unraveling it and rebuilding that brand.
Yeah, and if you're not ready for it, if you don't have the policies in place when it happens, it's not a good situation. So yeah, sometimes it's worth convincing, and we do that here at Gallagher. We try and advise all of our restaurant folks, hey, you definitely want to consider this and have this, because if it goes bad or when it goes bad, if you don't have this or you think you could save some money by not buying it, it could really come back to bite you. But those are two that sometimes some folks feel like they don't need in an effort to save some money. But I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it cost a lot of money quickly.
Yeah.
So, Jay, with over 20 years in the industry, where do you see the biggest opportunities for innovation in restaurant risk management over, let's say, maybe the next 10 years?
The next 10 years, I would say, just like you hear on the news every night when you go home, it's artificial intelligence. AI is big, and it's big across the world, but it's also huge in the restaurant space. You see it, people utilizing it now, whether it be enhancing their menus, whether it be in the drive-through, whether it be the artificial intelligence of tracking turnover times, table times. When you walk into a restaurant and they tell you it's a 45-minute wait, some of that AI is behind that, tracking the tables, knowing how long exactly it'll be. So I would say
Interesting.
AI has got the biggest impact heading into the future. I can't predict exactly how, but it's doing a lot of things now, and it's not going away. So I would say in the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see a lot of it in the restaurant space, enhancing whether it be customer service, the loyalty programs, the kiosk you see. But AI is, to me, the future biggest impact in the restaurant space across all levels. Quick service, fine dining, doesn't matter. AI is going to have an impact on it.
AI is impacting seems like everything.
Yeah, it's a revolution. If you, depending on who you listen to, it's definitely it's a big revolution across the board, all industries, but restaurants, restaurants are not immune.
And Jay, what kind of risks does AI present for a restaurant? What
Well,
unique
there's a
risks
lot.
start to
I would
emerge?
say there's a lot. I would say there's a lot of, depending on how it's implemented right now. I mean, I think AI is in its infancy stages, so we don't know everything of
Sure.
exactly how.
Yeah.
There are risks, but there's privacy concerns, obviously.
Mhm.
Once if depending on how a restaurant is using it, there's privacy concerns. There's, I mean, some folks are already using it for delivery and things like that. So there's liability issues. There's a lot of things out there, depending on how a brand decides to utilize and implement it, that they have to be very cautious. I mean, I think it could be a game changer. It will be a game changer. It's just a matter of making sure that it's done correctly. And, there's going to be a lot of trial and error as we move forward. I've seen some brands try it, like I said, in the drive-through and then pull back because it wasn't flawless, wasn't ideal, doesn't always work. But I mean, it does work, and it's only going to get better, and companies will find innovative ways to implement it, I think, and that's what we'll see. And we'll see who wins the AI battle and makes their brand continue on into the next decade.
It's funny you mentioned that. My wife and I were in Miami a couple weeks ago, and we were walking around, and they have those little robot delivery robots that are self-driving going down the sidewalk. And I never thought it until you mentioned it. There you go. There's another risk right there for the restaurant as it's delivering food. Yeah,
I saw the same
interesting.
thing. We were just out in California going to a football game. My wife and my daughter were out there, and same thing. We saw the little robots going down the street there in LA, and you could tell it was a food delivery
Yeah, yeah,
situation. I don't know if it was local or a national chain, but my daughter noticed it, and we realized. I mean, we were constantly seeing self-driving cars and these little delivery robots all over the sidewalk. So yeah, it's here and now, and it's only going to
great.
spread across the country and become the norm. Like the Jetsons when we were
Yep,
kids. It's going to be
yep.
something crazy. I just don't know how.
Well said. Yep.
So, Jay, I want to shift now for a minute to some of your volunteer activities. For quite a while now, you've served on the board of Kids Chance in Nebraska, and then also as an external affairs committee for the Risk and Insurance Management Society, or RIMS. Can you talk
Yeah,
about
I've
these
been involved with
activities and what
RIMS
they
ever.
add to your life?
Yeah, I've been involved with RIMS since my days at Applebee's over a decade now, and I did serve on that committee. I'm actually looking at changing committees and getting on the annual planning committee for RIMS this year. But the public service one is actually, and I think they've changed the name, Public Affairs. I think the official name is now, but yeah, that's actually doing some lobby work, going to Capitol Hill. I did that for a number of years, and that was good, exciting stuff because my minor originally in college was political science, so that was cool. And then the Kids Chance, really carried over from my days at Sedgwick as a work comp claims adjuster. Kids Chance provides scholarships and things like that for children who lost a parent to a work injury or were disabled, and they don't have the ability to earn money for those kids to continue on with their post high school education. So Kids Chance was near and dear to me when I was doing that, and I've stayed on it here in Nebraska. So I enjoy being a part of both of those. I'm fairly busy, so sometimes I feel like I've overextended myself, but those are two that are near and dear to my heart, and I like to try and be involved as much as I can with them.
That's awesome.
That is wonderful. You really provide great benefit in terms of service for both those. And I love that they're both focused in one way or another on education and supporting others in their educational endeavors. So that's terrific.
Yes,
So, last
indeed.
question. What advice would you give to your 22-year-old self after winning a national championship in college football at the University of Nebraska and thinking about your next steps in life?
To be honest with you, like you mentioned the football piece of it, so I'll say I would tell my 22-year-old self, it's not over. I was so excited to not have to do Husker Power and work out every day. And I would tell my 22-year-old self, when you're 50, 30 years from now, you're going to wish you kept working out and going to the gym. I would I let some of that go. I would tell my 20-year-old self, stay with it whatever. But in all actuality, I mean, I really think I handled it well. I probably would have fast forwarded my career and take things more serious. I had a great time in college, and I had a great time immediately after college, and I probably needed to get dialed in and more serious about my career a little bit quicker than I did. So I would probably tell my 22, 23-year-old self, hey, there's a great opportunity here. Let's get into it and get into insurance quicker than I did. But overall, it's been a great ride.
Well, you've had a terrific career so far, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. I'm sure many more great opportunities are ahead of you as well. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's great talking with you.
Yeah, thanks,
Well,
Jay, and congratulations
thanks
on landing those Lions tickets.
Thanks for having me, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
You betcha. And thanks for all of our listeners for tuning in. If you want to learn more about the Risk and Insurance Education Alliance, you can go to our website at riskeducation.org. Until next time, thanks for listening.